In my last video, I explained the exact steps I would take if I were to start designing today. If you haven't watched that yet, please do. It actually gives you the foundation you need before jumping into design tools. But today, let's go practical. I'm going to be showing you the only 3 tools. Yes, 3 tools you need to start designing inside Affinity Designer. And we will use them to create a simple graphic together. So if you haven't installed Affinity yet, just go on Google and type Affinity. Open the website and come on here to get Affinity to download. Once you finish downloading, open Affinity and you'll meet or find this interface. Don't get confused about every single thing you're seeing here. All these sizes are different paper sizes. You have the A3, which is times 2 of the A4. You have the A4, which is times 2 of the A5, and so on and so forth. But because we're making a social media graphic, we'll be sticking to the default Instagram size for social media designs, which is 1080 by 1080. So all I have to do is come over to this place and change my document unit from millimeters to pixels. And then I have to change my width and the height from whatever it is to 1080 and 1080. And I always like to create artboards. You could do it without creating artboard. I'll tell you the difference between creating an artboard and not creating in a later video. But trust me, you want to toggle artboards. And the rest of the things are fine. I like to change my DPI to about 600 and create documents. So we'll find a blank canvas like this. But this is what we're going to be creating. We're going to be creating this simple design, this simple graphic here. We have this young boy, we have the text, and we have the wall in the background. So first things first, I mentioned that we're going to be using 3 tools throughout to create everything. Number 1, the Move tool. This is the tool you will use the most, trust me. It's like your hand inside Affinity. It helps you select, drag, resize, rotate, and arrange anything. When beginners struggle with layout, it's usually because they are not comfortable with this tool. Number 2, the Shape tool. You see, the second tool is the Shape tool. Affinity gives you a long list of shapes, but I don't want you to get distracted by all of them. When starting out, you only really need the rectangle and circle. Yeah, these 2 shapes alone are enough to build layouts, banners, thumbnails, icons, almost anything. For our mini design, I'll draw a rectangle as the base. Then number 3, the Text tool. Believe me, this is probably the most important for beginners. Yes, the Text tool. Most of your designs will include text. Whether you're making headlines, quotes, social media posts, captions, everything, the Text tool helps you place and edit text cleanly, and with just a little attention to spacing and alignment, your work will instantly look more professional. So, let's jump into it. We'll be creating this flyer, this design, this graphic you're seeing here with just the Move tool, the Shape tool, and the Text tool. Yes, these 3 tools alone are more than enough for your first few weeks of learning. Get comfortable with them, and every other tool in Affinity becomes easier to understand. So the Move tool is what we have here. Selecting on the Move tool, you can click, hold and drag whatever item, whatever element on your artboard, on your design page. Next tool is our Shape tool. And here we have it. You're not going to waste time trying to understand every single thing. I can assure you that the tools you'll be using the most is the rectangle tool and the ellipse tool. I'll select the rectangle tool and probably try to draw over my artboard, and maybe you would make it white or whatever color you choose. But for this project, we're going to be using white. Then next, we're going to be bringing in our picture. I have the little boy cropped out already. I've removed the background, so I'll bring in my picture of the little boy, drag it into Affinity and place it here, like so. Let's look at what we're supposed to do again. Next, we need the background image. Every single thing I'm using for this project will be in the description, so there'll be a link there where you can download and follow along if you wish to. We click on this, I will drag it in. Now what we need to do is place this behind the young boy, and that's not so difficult to do. It's very easy. You would notice that there are different studios here. We have the Vector Studio, the Pixel Studio, which is the default that I'm using now, but I'm going to be changing because we're working on Vector. It's basically for design. That is where you have your pen tools. The tools are different on the Vector panels. When we click on it, you notice that every single thing changes. So with the Vector, you can zoom in up to 1,000,000 times and not lose quality of what you're working on. But with the Pixel works better with pictures. So everything seems blurry when you zoom in up to a particular limit. And then layout is for publications. When you want to make a document, you want to create a brochure, a journal or whatever, then Canva AI is actually for those who have Canva Premium. You can actually use that in your work. And I have created my studio. I'll be using mine. You want to create a studio for yourself, simply click on the Studio Manager to come to Create Studio and you can do so for yourself. So I want to take this image behind this young boy, and all I have to do is come up here to this place where we find Arrange, click on it and Send to Back. Now it's behind our rectangle that we had created before. So all we need to do is delete the rectangle. I will not be needing it anymore because I already have my background image. So I would place it like so and drag it to fill our artboard. Now our design is coming alive from what you can see. So the next thing I want to do from here is use our text tool to write our text, become a better designer. And it's as simple as clicking or selecting our text tool and choosing the artistic text tool. And the font I'm using for this particular project is League Gothic. I'll be dropping the link in the description so you can download and follow along. So the text is become a better, and then we need to type for designer. All right, so become a better could be in white, should be in white. We will reduce its size like so and place it here. And then designer, the same thing, we need it to be properly aligned. Let's look at what we have here again for clarity's sake. Okay, it's slanted a bit, and yeah, so become a better and designer. Let's zoom in, place it like so and change it to white. Now all I have to do is click on this little boy, back to our arrange, remember, and move to front. So it's behind, in front of the text rather. Now all I have to do is, I like dragging so that I can see my layers panel properly. Now the layers simply tells you every single thing you have on your artboard. I clicked, all I did was click, select it and drag it outside. Now I can see all my panels, all my layers. I can increase it if I want. Now I want to select become a better and designer together. So designer and become a better. I'll select them like so and slant it a bit like we did in the other design. Then we could increase this a bit by holding the shift key, clicking and dragging. But you may wonder, why is this in yellow and ours is in white? Oh, it's very, very simple. We just needed to make it needed to give it a texture that blends in with the background. So if I select on this like so and come over to overlay, that's from this our panel here, this drop down, come over to overlay and do the same for designer, overlay. We already have what we need. It's coming alive, and there's a glowing light here already that I want to emphasize it. I want it to be very, very radiant on the young boy's face. So I'll come back to my shape tool, right click on it and select the ellipse. Now I'll just draw a circle and over shape like this across the boy's face and change the color to purple, something like this.
I would come over to my quick FX panel. Now I need to drag this back in. Then my quick FX panel, like so. I could extend it if I want. And then I would select my Gaussian blur and increase it to like 100. And voila, that's what we have. So I'll drag this back in. And you could see the before and after. Let's come back. We'll toggle this on and off, before, after, just by increasing the Gaussian blur to 100. And finally, for what we did in our previous design, we're going to be adding just our name. You could just type any text for yours. This is like my brand logo. So I copy, I'll come back to my design, and I would paste. So there you have it. This is our simple flyer. You click on the artboard to export. You come over to File, Export, and Export. Now, this particular panel shows you every single format that you could export. I like to export in PNG, so I'll select my PNG, like so, PNG, and everything is fine. I'm not changing anything. I'll just click on Export. Select the folder where I want to save it. For me, say I want to save it in desktop or downloads. I'll give it a file name, Become a Better Designer, and then I will hit the save icon, and that's it. If I come over to my downloads panel, like so, I'll find my flyer. So there you have it. It's creating a simple flyer with just the move tool, the shape tool, and our text tool, and we can do this. Every single resource I've used here, if you don't have the fonts, I'll be dropping the link in the description. I'll also drop a link to get this image, and I'll drop a link to get the image I will use in the background, so you can follow along and actually get to do this for yourself. Go ahead, change the image to some other image that you want, change the text to whatever text that you want, and also change the background. Keep practicing, and keep practicing. I'll see you in the next one. You're welcome.